So this morning, the Dodge County Sheriff's Office notified our office of a suspicious video. They contacted us this morning at around 9 o'clock, actually 9:02. There's a video that was posted of an individual in front of the Byron High School on Facebook. It was originally believed to be that it was on Facebook Live, but if you know Byron enough, we had great concerns then because it was in front of the school. But Byron also has a bear sculpture in front of almost I think every school. So it took a little bit to try to identify which school it was, but it did turn out to be the Byron High School. The video made some threats towards law enforcement officers, attorneys, judges, and counties in general, basically saying that he was coming after them. He was quite upset and repeated some various statements. Although the one thing that was notable was if it was in front of a school, he did not identify any schools, and none of the persons listed were children or teachers or staff at the Byron High School. So Dodge County also then was able to identify him, that he was an individual they had had previous contacts with named Daniel James Lewison, age 55, and their last known address for him, or believed that he was living in the Rose Creek, Minnesota area, which is then in Mower County. So we're talking to Dodge County, we're talking to Mower County. So Mower County was also notified, and they did go do a check to see if he was located there. Based on all of that information from Dodge County and the video, we responded numerous deputies to Byron High School and the Byron community. We also at the same time notified the Byron schools that would be recommended they go into a soft lockdown, which they did immediately. The staff that we sent over also then quickly responded to all of the school buildings in Byron and started to search the areas around and outside of the school areas. We wanted to limit, obviously, with a soft lockdown, as much traffic as possible, so if he was there, we could quickly identify him and make contact. So we had several deputies over there working on that, searching for him and the vehicle. And Lewison was not located in Byron at that time, and in this process of the investigation, both from our staff as well as the schools staff in the city of Byron and in Byron schools, it was determined that the video was not taped today. It was not a live video. It was something that had likely been taped or created on Tuesday of this week. And it was outside of Byron High School. We sought then to try to find him and locate him through investigative measures. He was located then in Iowa. We contacted the sheriff's office there, who did have contact with him and did not make any further threats at that time. We also then, in our contact and investigation, determined that he was on probation. I'm not sure if it's been clarified to me what the charge is, but it was not a serious charge in a case that was threatening of nature, but he was on probation. So we did then, now that we did have him located down in Iowa, we did contact his probation officer to determine if we could take him into custody for the violations of being out of state, as well as creating the concern and fear that his video did create. And the Department of Corrections denied that order or request to place him into custody for probation violations. So at this time, we are still evaluating everything that went on today, and we'll work with our county attorney's office to determine if there are some new charges we can place on him at some point and take him into custody or formally charge him. I just want to reiterate again that and make the statement as well that all the persons that were listed in the video have been contacted and have been notified of the video, and that we have had contact with him, that he has been in contact with his probation officer as well. And we don't believe there's really truly an imminent threat, but obviously these folks all are aware of who he is and his nature. I do want to thank clearly our partners with Dodge County, Mower County, Sheriff's Office in Iowa. I don't exactly know the name right off the top of my head, but I can't remember. Chickasaw County, Iowa. Thank you very much. I know a few of them down there, but I didn't want to name the wrong one. So Chickasaw County, Iowa was responded as well. And then certainly the Byron School District was fantastic in their cooperation and partnership today, both in providing the safety, helping us provide safety and security for the children and the staff in the school buildings that they have over there, as well as just helping us do the investigation that was needed to be happening pretty quickly today. And their response was absolutely fantastic, and we certainly couldn't have gotten to where we were as quickly as we were today without their cooperation and coordinating the work that we had to do. So at this point, I'll take any additional questions if you have some. Yes, sir.
Brad Jones, KTGC. Why were the other schools evacuated? They were not evacuated, but placed under lockdown. Hassan Manorville, Hayfield, right?
That I can't answer. That's a question for Dodge County. That's not our county. I'm guessing basically the same concern that we had in that sense. Some of the persons listed in there, actually most of them, are the attorneys, the judges, some of the other court officials live in Dodge County, because that's really where he's been spending a lot of his time. And that's why Dodge County apparently came to be aware of him at first. So I'm just guessing that, over the abundance of caution to try to advise those schools as well. Again, we saw the video, as I'm sure you all have. It was in front of a school building. His issue is not with the school. And if you really look at it, he makes mention in his video something about a bear. The bear is coming for you. He did it in front of one of the bears in Byron High School, and it's to our knowledge, and what we may determine something later. But at this point, it doesn't seem as though Byron High School had anything to do with it, other than it has these really impressive-looking bear sculptures in front of their school buildings. So, but again, I just assume what Dodge County did was notify their schools as well, just because there was this somewhat connection to a school where he filmed the video. Yeah.
What are the possible charges that you would be looking at charging him with this video?
Well, at the very least, it'd be a misdemeanor, a disorderly conduct, because obviously it's what he did was very concerning in that sense. So disorderly conduct could be, someone screaming on a street corner and causing fear and concern to people that might be passing by or whatever, to all the way up to what we were looking at was some level of terroristic threats, which I think there is some argument to be had on that. And did it cause some fear and terror in that sense? I think anytime you close a school building, and certainly in this day and age and what we're currently dealing with, there is that. And I don't think anyone is going to be upset that we and when I say we, our office and the other sheriff's offices as well as the school districts did what they did. We have to take these kinds of things seriously, and we're going to, and that's the work that we'll do through our investigation, and try to maybe there is a chance that we can bring some charges later on.
Real quick, he is not in custody right now.
He is not in custody. We do not believe he is any direct threat to really even those people that he listed in his video. It was more, I guess, I hate to put it in a term, but more of a rant Our understanding from what we've been able to learn from Dodge County and even Mower County, that this is not unusual, this is his character. And so, yes, it's alarming to those of us that didn't know him before today, and certainly to parents of school children and staff in the school, being this was filmed in front of a school. Obviously, if he wants to do a rant, it would be appropriate to not do it in front of a school building because of the concern that we have. So definitely a good point to be made that we don't believe he is any real direct threat to anyone at this moment, in the sense that he's out seeking to find someone and stalking or any of that. That is not anything we've seen or expect at this point in time. So there's nothing we can do at this point.
Any word as to why the particular video, which was, I guess, recorded on Tuesday, came to light today?
That's a good question. We're going to ask that question because it fooled me in that sense that I certainly thought that it was a live video, that he was standing right there, and we had a deputy within that space while the video was going on, and just seconds after he ended it, the deputy was there, and they're like, there's nobody here. So yeah, it really puzzled us, and then we started to scramble and look through the video again to determine whether or not, okay, is that the bear in front of the high school or the elementaries or the middle school? Because they all have these bears in front of them. So it was later determined for sure it was in front of the Byron High School, and that was proven then that we learned that it was filmed or put together on Tuesday.
You stated he was located in Iowa. You're not able to take him into custody at this time. Did
Right.
you give any explanation to officers at the scene there?
I don't think
as to why he did it?
I don't think we didn't ask them to do that. We just, they had custody of him, or they didn't have custody, they didn't take him into custody, they had contact with him. I don't want to make that clear. They had contact with him, but I don't believe they approached him with what we were, I don't think he knows what we were up to. Whether or not his PO has explained to him what was going on, because his probation officer did have contact with him. I don't know if that's been explained, but we haven't had a chance to ask him those questions, but certainly we will
So
at
you've
some
had
point in time.
no...
We've had no
contact?
law enforcement contact with him related to this incident. Chickasaw County had contact with him, but was just simply able to locate him for us. And, simply that they were waiting to, if we were able to issue some kind of charges, or the PO could issue an apprehension order for him or a warrant for him, then they would have taken him into custody. But since that didn't happen, then he's unfortunately free to leave and go about his day.
Mr. Lewison seems to have an extensive criminal history. He was on probation, as you said.
Yeah.
Were the people that he named, the people that he listed in this video, at all connected to prior cases he's had, or?
Yeah, my understanding, most of them did have some level of contact with him in his, as you say, numerous run-ins with law enforcement and the justice system.
Speaking of those run-ins, do you know which of these charges or convictions he's on probation for?
Oh, I hate to say, I'm not exactly sure. I think that's something you should be able to look up and search on your own. I haven't had a chance to do that. I had to run off to another meeting after this was done and just got back from that. So I personally don't know at this time.
Will law enforcement be monitoring the people that he's
Yeah,
listed off?
yeah. Again, most of those folks that were listed are not persons that work regularly in our county. They work in other counties. I believe it was Mower, Dodge, and Rice County. So they've had contact with them, and we expect that they will continue making contact. Some of them weren't even home at the time. So there will be further check-ins with those folks as we go further. And obviously, if they see him or run into him in some fashion, whether it's occasional or it's intent that he is there at their house or wherever, I'm fully certain that they will contact their local law enforcement to take whatever action is needed at that time.
You mentioned that you tried to get DOC to have you arrest him because he was out of state.
Yeah.
Is there a reason they gave for not allowing that to happen?
I think there was some indication of that, but that's probably a good question for the DOC to, I know there's usually limits on how, when someone's on probation, as to whether they can go out of state, whether they can go out of county and those kind of things. And if they do that, they're supposed to be in contact with their PO. So we did learn somewhat after the fact that he had, or this PO had said that they had had contact. So if that was enough to satisfy the PO, that's very likely why they weren't going to issue it, that they had had contact. And a lot of times it's simply, hey, law enforcement's looking for you. Why don't you come into my office tomorrow? And if they do that, then and agree to it, then they're not terribly concerned. So
Do you know why he was in Iowa?
I have no clue, no idea. Just that we were able to locate him there. So okay.
Is there a time that he was located?
It was probably, I don't even know. The time was moving so fast. So within the time span, he was located maybe a half hour before the schools went off of lockdown. I think that was right before noon. So I would estimate, I'll just give you an estimate, that around 11:30, 11:20, somewhere in that neighborhood was when he was located. Might have been a little before, but around that time frame.
The schools that were put in lockdown were part of the Sumbro Education District. Other schools in there included Blooming Prairie and Stewartville. Stewartville is in Olmsted County. Do you know if Stewartville was placed on lockdown
No.
or a secure mode at this time?
No, we had no reason to notify Stewartville. So, I don't think it had anything to do with the Z district. I think that's just coincidental.
Deputies first responded to the high school before checking the other schools.
Yes, yes. The first belief was the high school, and then there were some questions, as I mentioned, by us and by the deputies on scene, that the individual could have been at one of the other schools, based on some characteristics we saw in the video. But ultimately, it was determined that he did film it on Tuesday at the high school. So initially, the response was to the high school, yes. But they did a soft lockdown in all their buildings all at the same time, is my understanding. So. All right, thank you very much.